Okay, one more time for the people at the back. Let's do this. This is the place to be. This is the place you want to be. This is a stream you should be watching. And of course, this is the Telkom VS Gaming Masters. And we have reinforced the panel.
It got a bit bigger.
Yeah, we brought some, literally, because there's also a big guy over there. I'm feeling a little bit smaller now, actually.
Please, you guys aren't too small
Balance has
yourselves,
been
dude.
restored to
Balance
the
is
desk.
restored.
There has to be balance, equilibrium.
It's important.
As with all things in life. But as with this thing in life, let's break this down a little bit more. We were chatting a bit about these two sides that are coming up. Of course, there's a backstage game as well, but we'll get there in a moment. Sin 5 versus WRG. Gentlemen, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. I want to know who your favorites are. I want to know which player to watch. I want you to give us all those details.
You know, Sinister 5, WRG, you spoke about Zio obviously crossing borders, crossing ship over to WRG from Sinister 5. And, you know, he's obviously got a revengeance for himself built in. And, you know, he's been playing Counter-Strike for years. So, you know, him mentioning being an IGL, I see no problem with that as long as he can just keep himself composed, keep the team composed. And it's a bunch of youngsters who have hot aim and, you know, they're really hungry to play some good Counter-Strike. And then on the other hand, you got Sinister 5, you know. They've been punching hard. I mean, they hit Big 5 twice hard, you know what I mean? There's W, so, you know, they obviously looking to actually win the title.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, missed him jumping over there. He's pretty strong, heavy hitter. Zero chance, always keeping his voice composed. You know, hacking, clutch king, and then, you know.
It's actually interesting to note, though, because now WRG have that experience. That player that's going to bring them down, Zio, you know, he's got that experience. He's got that LAN experience especially, and he's been around the block a couple of times. So if you have a look at how that's going to actually influence the team as a whole, bring them down to, you know, sort of ground level again once they win a couple of rounds, maybe get a bit overzealous, and just bring them back down to ground floor.
Yeah, one of my things that I really like about Zio being the shot caller here is that it's actually the first time he's worked with a relatively inexperienced team, and these guys are going to be looking up to him. They're going to be looking at him for the man to follow. He is the leader right now. They've got RMP, and he's been around for a while as well, but other than that, it's Spaz, Doru, and Mangu, and we're talking about 3 young, heavy hitters with a bit of an anecdote on Spaz, because he's been around for a while. He even played for Big 5. He's actually one of the players I look to as one of the experienced players in this team, even though he's only 19 years old. It's the same as Massacre and Adara. These guys, even though they're young, they're experienced, which is actually a really potent combination.
I agree. The thing with Spaz is he's been playing for a while.
Yeah.
Like he's been around, and he's still young and a while. So with him, it's him about getting comfortable. As soon as he's comfortable in the team, as soon as he feels, you know, a bit vibrant and stuff, that's when he starts popping off. That's when he reads the game well. That's when his mechanics come into play, and that's why he's one of valuable assets for WRG.
Yeah.
But you need him to be comfortable. That's the key.
Okay.
And I also think with Zio leading this team, you could expect a much looser, free range, free style. You know, no pressure on the structure of the team. He's going to bring a far looser dynamic to the game. Of course, there's the revenge aspect. He wants to get back, you know, at Sinister 5, go at them. But that being said, Sinister 5, with the addition of Mr. and you could see when he joined the team, it felt like for him, for some reason, he was going back home. He was going back to underneath Zero Chance, which he obviously has a lot of respect for. So you can expect a clear structure, clear leadership, and those heavy hitters coming alive for Sin 5. So incredible match ahead of us, I think.
I agree completely with Mr. The point you brought out. Like, with him, he just wants to be in an environment where he's in control of not only his own gameplay, but he actually believes and trusts in his IGL in that sense. And, you know, James gets an experience, Zero Chance, so he's going to be looking to pop off, to be honest.
I think that was actually one of the problems with Mr. on Energy was he was looked to as one of the experienced players. He needed to have a voice in the system. And he has a voice here as well, but it's not nearly as important for him to actually be focusing on that element of the game, which allows him to focus solely on that fragging, on that entry fragging, which we've seen him doing phenomenally over the past couple of weeks at ECL.
And if you look at Mistum's track record, I mean, he joined Energy as the young gun, where they had Canny, where they had you know, Black Poison, all these guys, and then eventually that got split up because of overseas, you know, ambitions and things like that. That's when Mistum came into that role of being suddenly the most experienced player. So I think going back into the role that Tools just pointed out in Sin 5, I think is going to be a scary dynamic, and it's going to be tough to deal with for all the teams here.
Agreed.
Recall, you were a little bit more quiet. I'm going to give you a special honor in this one. So it's great for the learned audience that they can really appreciate some of the insights that we're bringing. But I want to simplify this for the people down there. The people in Comic-Con might not know this game too well just yet.
Shoot heads win game.
We're not there yet.
Not that basic. Not that.
We'll go there in a moment. But really what I want to know is, Give these people a reason to support either of these two sides, or both of them. Give us one reason to get behind WRG, give us one reason to get behind Sin 5. If you don't have a team, Recoil's going to give it to you.
Well, if you look at it this way, I've already mentioned it before, Sin 5, they were the first team to qualify for Masters and through the online qualifiers. They haven't really had a great season in the VS leagues, but they have sort of a little bit of a resurgence now with Mistim joining, and they're looking really solid. And WRG, on the other hand, you guys spoke about it already. They're these, a couple of young guns that are in the team. If you're looking to support your fellow younger people in the gaming scene, that's the way to go, because those are some of the youngest players that are playing at the top level.
Yeah, a name we haven't mentioned yet is Mango.
Very
15 years of old. When you look at this Mistim versus Mango matchup, we're looking at the next generation of the top South African Counter-Strike players. In 10 years, those will be the guys standing next to me, where you boys are right now.
Is he even old enough to play this event?
Don't start asking me
Sign indemnity.
Anyway, jokes aside, he's 15.
I want to put that in perspective. I want people to really get this from it, like how young this guy is.
Yeah, he's the youngest at the event, hands down.
We're at Comic-Con, a place where we celebrate film and geekhood. There are movies this man cannot watch. He can't see some of this stuff here.
Yeah.
And he's taking skulls behind us, and he really is.
Yeah.
But before we go too far on just these two sides, it's worth mentioning as well, these are not the only two teams playing. And a special mention to, of course, Big Five and Ominous, who have been... They've been a fantastic squad. Both squads have been fantastic.
Yeah.
They've worked really hard to get here. But for one of these sides, they're never making it to the stage.
Yeah,
this
tough.
is single elim, means that one of these guys play these matches behind doors
Cutthroat.
and don't come through.
Yeah, it's cutthroat. That's the only way to put it.
That's competition at the end of the day. I mean, if you got to beat everyone, and if you can't beat the team that's at the door at the event, which is quarterfinals in a sense, you can't get in.
And for anyone who doesn't know why they're playing backstage, is because we've got some heavy time constraints for this event. So it was the only way we were really able to stagger it. So it's one of those things. Got to roll with the punches, but yeah, I mean that Omnius Gaming versus Big Five. I mean, we got Big Five as the solid favorites.
Don't feel too down though. If there are those of you who are already big fans of either of those two squads, there is a B stream. You can go watch it. And it has somebody pretty amazing that we all know very well who's covering that for us. So big shout out and thank you, of course, Sonic, for covering those matches. That's really cool. Hey, isn't he a COD player or something?
Hey, don't talk. Us COD players, we got something
actually,
special.
I really do want to go there for a thing. I made the joke about COD, but I don't actually mean any disrespect. COD is a fantastic title. But why is it always CS? Why is this the game that always comes onto these grand stages here in South Africa?
Well, actually, Call of Duty on computer is practically dead at this point, and it used to be quite a healthy competitive scene.
I don't want to go that. I want to go about CSGO.
Well, I'm going there. My point is that a lot of these COD players have actually filtered into the Counter-Strike scene, and they've actually introduced a whole different skill set with the likes of Tuckbook, Slowy. You look at how quickly these guys move, how fast they get into positions, how snappy they are with their aim. I mean, come on, you've got to admit, when the COD players came through.
I mean, even we had Freaky back in the day.
Yeah.
Their play style is so robust.
Yeah.
It's so agile. They don't give you any room or space to breathe. They're just constantly putting pressure on you. And maybe in COD, it's a more fast-paced game, so they've added the Adam and Shell. But with Counter-Strike, I mean, there's no skill cap. So when you look at that, I mean, you can do anything and everything within the game, within your own restrictions. So that's probably why Counter-Strike is always, at the main stage. It's just the inception of esports practically started with Counter-Strike in terms of this big title.
It's a 20-year-old esport we're talking about.
Yeah, so like when you ask the question is why is Counter-Strike, I mean, it needs no explanation. We don't need to talk about it more. It's just the game to play.
100%. There we go, Devin.
I think I'll buy that one. Look, I mean, especially I want to point out as well, this is truly an audience spectacle. This is a type of game that you don't have to understand as in-depth as it can be. You can grow alongside it. You can enjoy it just for the most basic headshots and those clutch plays. And then you can grow with it and understand why those things were so much more impressive than you first realized. But going there just for a moment, because once again, we have an audience there that don't all know what CSGO is. We have some of you out there that are comic book collectors. Maybe you're into some of the other titles that are lit around Comic-Con this weekend, but you want to see. So what are we here to do, boys? What is the aim of the game? And not all at once. Go! Let's go!
No, well, look, I mean, we got obviously two sides. We've got WRG and Sin 5 terrorists, counter-terrorists. They got to get the bomb down. They got to defend against the bomb sites. Ultimately, it comes down to headshots and who's got the better clicks on the day. So, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to.
Heads win game.
Short and sweet. I love it. But don't take our word for it. We have some special treats for you as well. Let's take it away.
Now.
It is a culmination of a year-long league. These are the best of the best our country has to give.
Nice big stun coming in from Zazawi, but that is it. Only Wolf, and that is it. I don't think there's more. And you're grand champions.
Look at the glee, look at the joy, and he's finally broken the curse. The shouts of true victory.
It's mine.
It's mine. It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
Incredible. God, look at the production value of this convention. This has been insane. I'm so grateful to have been involved with it. Guys, introducing White Rabbit Gaming.
Right, and those are the boys from White Rabbit Gaming, but they're up against some of the stiffest competition about. The boys in green, give it up for Sin 5! Right, and here they come, the boys in green. Yeah! Good old Sin 5. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good luck, good luck. Good luck, good luck. I'm gonna hold on to you, though. You know why, right? I'd like to hear a few words from you. So what's your in-game name?
James Zero Chance Weinberg.
Zero Chance. Is that some sort of message for your opponents?
It was chosen when I was 13 years old, so yes, it was.
Chosen for you?
Yeah. Chosen for me, yeah.
Okay, right. Let's get to know a little bit more about you. I mean, you're sitting at the biggest SA event for CSGO. How did you end up here? How did you start the journey in CSGO?
A lot of hard work, 4 players who had the same vision as I had, and yeah, a lot of good results as well, and we're just sort of building game by game, looking forward to taking that title.
And how old were you?
How old am I?
How old were you when you started?
My first competitive national, and I was 17 years old.
Lovely, all right. And I mean, it's been a long journey to get here, right?
Very long journey, ups and downs, but at the moment we're on an up, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And Sinister 5, I mean, these are your teammates. I heard a little bird tell me something about Sinister 5 looking like the strongest team about. Do you hazard to agree?
Absolutely. We're a team that works really hard, and we're a team that understands what we need to do to win. And now it's just about composure and getting the guys together, finding our form in the tournament, and getting that win.
All right, so a very confident bunch they are. One last question, and then I'll leave you to it. Anything you want to say to WRG?
Nothing much. We're focusing on ourselves, and we're going to take it game by game. We're fully focused. We respect our opposition. They're a good team, but we're fearless. We're going to take the win without a doubt.
Excellent. Well, that's it from Sin 5.
Right, White Rabbit Gaming. I'm with RMP, the captain. How are you? Are you feeling composed?
Yeah, very excited for this game.
How did you guys practice for this? Like, what was the routine?
We basically, for this match specifically, we didn't do like too much. We just focused on our individual game and our teamwork, getting everything together. So we're going to play our own game. And, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know who White Rabbit Gaming is, how did you get into White Rabbit Gaming? How long have you been playing for them?
So me personally, I've been playing for White Rabbit Gaming for like 2 years, 2.5 years now. Since then, there's been a lot of lineup changes. Now, currently, I've got a very young team. We brought in Zio just to like get everything together because we lacked some experience. Because I was really the only guy that had some experience. I got into CSGO. I played Call of Duty for a lot of years. Played for the likes of Ian, Bravado, and all that. So yeah, and then CS casually, and then into the competitive scene.
And as in terms of White Rabbit's standings, like how far have you guys come? And how far do you think you guys are going to get in this tournament?
It's been up and down because of the lineup changes. We've been hovering about like the top 4. So for this event specifically, I'm aiming for like a top 2. So that's our expectation for the tournament.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play. Good luck. I hope that you do the best. Guys, we're going to go head on over back to the casters at the top.
Well, the panel, perhaps. But we'll get to you, Costa. You wait your turn. We're still here. We still got this. We've got some time left in our hands. We've got some things to talk about.
Yeah.
Moments away, boys. It is go time. Like we've all been sitting here. We've been doing the setting up. We've been watching the stand.
Yeah.
We've been warming the seats. But it is moments until we kick this whole thing off.
Yeah.
And of course, I mentioned before, this has not been something that's happening just here at Comic-Con. This is an event that has been growing for an entire year. Since the last time we crowned a champion, the cogs have been turning and we've been making our way to this grand stage behind me.
Yeah.
And in that time, in this tournament alone, this series of tournaments, if you will, these sides have met 4 times before. 3 times, Sin 5 have managed to take down WOG, but 1 time, and the most recent time, WOG cracked the code.
Yeah.
What's going to happen out here?
I think it's going to come down to how the teams are obviously feeling on the day, because Sin 5 for me is that lineup that's a lot. I would say they're the overdogs here. They're not, by no means are the underdogs against WOG in this game. But Sin 5 for me have been playing just a lot better in recent times. I mean, we look at their performances at ECL and that sort of thing, and it just shows how much work and prep they've been putting in. And obviously, we can't forget that Mr. addition to that team as well.
Yeah, he's really balanced things out for Sinister 5. The fragging distribution is looking a lot better now across the board. Everybody's in their comfortable roles as well. Hackham, the backbone of that team. You've got your leader in Zero Chance, who's calling the shots, pulling the strings, if you will. And then, like you said, you've got Mistim, Divo, and Flexi, your 3 young, heavy hitters. When these 3 are popping off, there's very few in South Africa who are able to keep up with them, in particular Mistim. And I want to talk about this Mistim versus Mango match.
Could I interrupt you just a moment,
You
actually,
may.
sir?
You may.
Because you mentioned before that Divo, or rather the COD players, have made a big waves in the scene. And I believe Divo was one of those guys.
Yeah, I think he may have played a bit of COD. He was never huge in the COD scene, though.
But if you look at just his performance lately, right, like Divo
Yeah.
specifically, I remember at the Telkom VS Gaming Championships, he got in one series, he got, I think, or one game, one best of 3, he got 52
That was
kills,
against
was
Good
it?
Gaming, yeah.
Against Good Gaming?
On Mirage.
The man's just playing out of his socks.
Yeah, he really is playing fantastic CS, and there's one thing that you cannot fault about Divo, and it's his work ethic. He has got one of the highest work ethics in the country. The man has put in thousands of hours of practice and honing his skills on the server, and this is what it builds up to, this moment right here on the stage.
100%.
All of those hours in the game all amount to this point right here, and obviously the future big moments, but this is the moment on his hands that he'll be focusing on.
So WOG, on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with, let's call it an authority on WRG, and that man wasn't feeling underdogish. That man was feeling fairly confident.
Was it Zio?
No, it was a very special man to WRG, actually. It was the MGO, Alvain.
Switch.
Yeah, he is a, for those who don't know, people who lead your NGOs are not, they're like another team member. They're literally out there with you in spirit every single game, and he is one of the finest. And hence, on good authority, I know that these guys have been putting up some decent numbers against some top brass, including a side that you'll learn much more about if you don't already yet, Goliath Gaming, of all people. Is this a sign of things to come?
They have been playing a lot of scrims lately, and I had a chat to Zio just before they went up on stage, and he was saying that they've actually been taking maps off of teams like Goliath, teams like Big Five, teams like Energy as well. And you have a look at that, and it must be some of the influences coming in, the new additions. Obviously with Zio leading, there's, like Goals was saying a bit earlier, there's a lot looser play. There's not really you don't really have to worry about, you know, somebody making a mistake because you can capitalize.
Yeah. The one thing I'm really looking forward to about WRG on the stage right now is the fact that this is the most complete they've looked as a roster before. This is the most potent they've looked at as a roster before. And I really hope that these guys actually stick together for an elongated period, because it's too often that we see a 2-month team and then they swap out a player and everything that they've been working on just gets left behind. So I really hope this team, this group of players, they are incredibly skilled. There is so much potential. They've been on the cusp. They have been there the whole time. They've been sort of the 5th best team in South Africa for a while now, but they have what it takes to break into that top upper echelon, and this is their opportunity. This is their moment to show the public, to show everyone, to prove people wrong that they deserve to be considered one of the top teams in the country.
It's single elim. You mentioned they were number 5. Well, guess what happens if you win this game?
Yeah, you consider you top 4 already.
Top 4 already.
It is crazy when you think about what is at stake here.
Yeah.
These games are really just crazy. I mean, one game, and you're either the difference between going home or you're just a click away from the podium.
Yeah. That puts so much more pressure on the teams, though, right? Because if you look at performances, most people generally don't show up on day one unless you've been warming up hard in the morning or something like that. Most teams don't really show up.
Yeah, there's no warm-up time. No. You need to be there from round number one. You need to be performing on all 5 cylinders, as it were, in this case.
And that puts so much more pressure on a team, because you look at it now and you lose, you're gone. You know, yes, it's a best of 3, but if you have a look at the caliber of teams and how close the scene is at the moment, it's almost unrecognizable. You know, this is the closest that this South African CSGO scene has been ever.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you make, Recall. It's always sort of been the situation where we've had 2 fantastic teams in Energy and Bravado, and then it's been everybody trying to see how many rounds they can get off those teams as a test as to how far they've come or how much progress they're making. Now, we've got 4 teams who, on their good day, they can 100% compete against each other. Then you bring Good Gaming and WRG, XD even into the mix as well, and it's just like, we've got this fantastic group of teams at the moment, and anyone on their good day, well, you can't take them lightly.
No.
And there's something beautiful about CSGO that I don't think exists in many other titles out there, is that these are like games that go down to the final map and then some, because then you go into overtime. I'm sure we'll get some overtime. Our history has shown that these sides like to go a little bit further. But there's also the fact that even if your side is on the brink of defeat, even if they're 1 round away from going home, they're still in it. There's still that chance. There's always that chance. And in this kind of environment, I saw you react to that. Let's go.
It warms my heart to hear that, and that's why it's actually my favorite esport, because it doesn't matter how far away the game is from you. There is always that comeback mechanic. As long as you knuckle down, you're able to win a round or 2, get the economy back on your side, you can always get your team back in the game. Just like you said, even if they're 1 round away, it's still not game over, and that's just Counter-Strike for you. You can never write a team off until the match is actually finished.
Exactly, and that's why the mental game is so important. I've always touched on it when I do panels and everything like that, because the mental game for me, especially in this environment, once your team isn't sound on a mental capacity, you've already lost the game. Because if you're 15-0 behind, you can still come back. You know, win the pistol, but you can still come back. You know, and
that's how memories are made, man.
That's the greatness that we. That's why we hear the excitement.
And I tell you what, in on this day, and tomorrow, where you want to be, there is absolutely no die in any of these players. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the seed 8 going up against the seed 1 backstage. I promise you that there is grind and just raw intensity from everyone just coming out their pores. But before we go too much further down this line, I want to point out something great here about this. There's still seats available. And that's important. If you are walking around, you're having a good time, now's the time that you come down, because there's going to be a little less of us and a little bit more of them very, very soon. But it's starting to fill up, and these games can be long. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. You want to take your seat now, because you're not going to want to miss a moment of it. The only time you're going to stand when you jump off your seats, because you realize what is happening behind us. It is that good.
It certainly is. It's going to be very exciting as soon as this game gets going. We should be live with the veto shortly. You can see some warm-up there from Mistim. He is going to be the player to watch today. You were talking to Goals earlier about who the man to watch is. In my opinion, it's Mistim for Sinister 5. He is looking so good. He's only 17 years old. He's on the up, and he's heading towards that top position in South African Counter-Strike.
What about Mango? I interrupted you guys earlier. You wanted to go down that train.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good way to go there.
Like you said, the youngest player at the tournament.
Yeah.
Not really the youngest player in the scene, but at this tournament, 100%. But also, how much he's improved since he's joined White Rabbit Gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to talk to him when he used to play for a team called Kings Reborn, which nobody knows about because they were some open division team. And he said to me, he was like, "Recall, I want to get there." And I mean, he's here and he's proving how good he is.
Yeah, I'm generally not one who likes to sort of make these type of comparisons, but there's a few different people who have mentioned this, so
Yeah.
I actually have it on good merit that this is a common consensus that a lot of people are seeing in Mango what they saw in Sonic when he was the same age. And that's a really big comparison to draw, but I get it because his util usage is really good. His movement, his understanding of the game, his spacing, his communication, the way he works with his teammates. He's a very well-rounded player. Normally when we have these 15-year-old stars, they can aim, great, they can shoot heads, they're fantastic at that, and yes, they bring that sort of skill set to the table, but he brings so much more than that when you look at your standard 15-year-old, and there he is on screen right now. Certainly one of those players that I'm looking forward to flourish in the next couple of years.
And at this level of CS, I've always been a very big advocate that everyone is almost on the same skill level, especially at the highest level of CS and SA. And where those small differences come is in the mechanical skill of players, is in the util usage, how they think about the game. And I mean, that man, Cheapers, sometimes I've had a chat to him in the past, and the way that he thinks about CS is unlike I've ever spoken to any of the other guys.
Yeah.
Why? I'm not going to let you talk that easy, Rico. You know me. You've been here long enough.
The way that he thinks, and for example, if there's a player at X spot, he knows that his team's going to be there, so he needs to throw a flash there. It's these intricacies that not many of the pro players actually think about and actually talk about. And it's just so interesting to see from such a young player that he's already thinking about those things. I mean, these are things that some of the pros, some of the veteran pros in SA have a little, some sort of grasp on, but actually don't understand properly. And here you have this 15-year-old that's...
Man, we're going to see it soon because we are on the cusp and you are running because you're going to miss it. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. We are taking a little bit of a teaser and then we're going to be back and then it's going to be CSGO Haven.
What's bigger than getting over 80 gigs of value with the Telkom September Big Deal? Get a freebie 20 gig SIM-only data package for only 499 Rand per month, and we'll make it even bigger with 1,500 all-network minutes, 3,000 Telkom to Telkom minutes, 2 gigs for WhatsApp, 10 gigs for music streaming, and 50 gigs for video streaming. Pop the SIM in your phone and you'll get all that for just 499 Rand per month. So go bigger than big with the Telkom September Big Deal. Call 10213, click telkom.co.za or go to any Telkom shop.
You hear the bass in this place.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were going on camera. I was showing off all my dance moves.
Well, there we go. I mean, now everyone knows how you dance.
Yeah, the director was waiting for that. Veto's ready.
I'm excited.
Let's do this. Let's see what we got.
Yeah,
Both of these teams have made recent roster changes, which means they won't have the deepest map pool. They'll probably play all the maps here or there, but their strengths are going to be very specific.
Yeah.
So we'll be jumping into that shortly. Both of these teams I know love to play Mirage, so
That's
I'd be
the thing.
very surprised if that map didn't make it into the series.
Well, that's the thing. Especially in the recent times, Mirage Inferno has been played a lot, and teams are really preferring to play on those maps.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing is Vertigo isn't being played that much. The newest addition to the map pool, obviously.
Yeah.
But teams really just shy away from it.
Devin, we had about 65 maps played over a 5-week period. Vertigo and Nuke were not picked once across the board of ECL, which is insane. 2 maps out of 7 were not played once.
Hey, don't worry. I'm in good luck with. I get these maps up. Don't
the
worry.
casters are hoping we don't get much Vertigo as well.
I want to see people falling off the map. I want to see everything. But guys.
Yeah.
Literally moments away.
Yeah.
Last chance. I want to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever been. I've been ready this whole week. I want to get going.
Rico, are you ready?
Let's go. I'm keen.
Ladies and gentlemen of Comic-Con, are you ready?
There we go.
All right, let's do this. Map veto's 30 seconds away. It is about to happen.
Tantalizingly
It is.
close.
It is just. It's right there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna survive. Okay, fine. Let's Take a moment.
Take a
We've
break.
got to be serious. Got to do game
So-
faces on, etc.
Go back to what we were saying about Vertigo and Nuke. Whichever team has been practicing those maps explicitly will be in a very good advantage heading into the veto in this competition. Your opposition only has one ban before you get your pick, so if they ban Vertigo or Nuke, you pick the opposite. Boom. All of a sudden, you're playing a map that your opposition aren't familiar with. So I genuinely hope that one of these teams have been practicing those maps.
How do you ban a map that you know you're not good on, but you may not know that your team's good on, but then you have this extent of the other 5 maps in the pool that you may, it's interesting to think. But
I think Veto's live.
Veto is live, so we're going to go straight into this.
Well, it's jumping off the desk. Jump off that desk and around. Give us the veto, guys. Let's go.
White Rabbit takes out Overpass, and Sinister 5 takes out
there
Mirage.
it is.
Mirage!
Okay. Whoa, okay.
Not
so.
That's interesting.
But that's I can respect that. It's WRG strength. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we don't want to play WRG on their best map. We can play the likes of Train. We can play the likes of Dust as well.
Yeah.
So let's head in that direction instead. And it means both Nuke and Vertigo have made it through the veto. Let's see if we're going to have a surprise pick here.
Also, an interesting thing is that Overpass is one of Sinister 5's strongest maps as well.
Yeah,
so
they've looked alright.
they've been looking a lot better on it in recent times than they have in the past, which is quite interesting to see. And I like to see, because this shows the prep work that the teams have done coming into this tournament as well.
Yeah. Got our picks coming up next. WRG will pick the first map.
I honestly can't wait. I'm sorry for the I know you guys want to get these guys. But I'm just like literally. Come on, let's go, let's go.
Give us our map here. Yeah.
What do you think we're going to see here between these two teams?
Inferno probably third, just that standard protocol.
Standard, yeah.
And there's Dust coming out for
Dust
WRG. I like that pick. They've got very high skilled players, but Sinister 5 have looked good on this map over the past few weeks as well. So I think that's actually a great map for Sinister 5 as well.
Just jump in here because you guys have way more important things to say than I do. But just from a less technical perspective, what a beautiful map to start on. Dust is one of the...
There it is. I told you.
Well, good luck.
You are.
But Dust is one of the best maps I think you could start off with. It's one of the age-old, real, traditional maps of CSGO. And that's how we're going to kick off Comic-Con, and I love it.
Well,
but now I want to talk about that, baby.
Yeah.
Vertigo being taken out.
Nuke got picked.
Nuke got picked. But I want to touch on the Dust 2, because Dust 2 I think it's more of an impactful opening map than we think, because Dust 2 has always been that map that lends itself to individual aimers and taking those individual duels more so than a big team effort from the team.
Yeah.
Recent times we've seen the meta change from that, though, with the executes coming out on A and B.
Yeah.
But Inferno last.
Yeah, I said it. Inferno is just the standard protocol for the third map pick. So I see that WRG, they actually had the choice between Train and Inferno, and they decided to go with Inferno. And I actually think that's a better pick against Sinister 5 because they've looked really good on Train in the short amounts of time that we've seen him. And Inferno, anything can happen. As the third map, if you've gotten one map in the series already, literally it's whoever's feeling the best at the moment that can pick it up if you've got what it takes to make the map work for you.
Let's dump things down here just a moment for me and the other new people involved. Let's talk a little bit about what you're expecting to do here. So we mentioned before, pretty much what you're doing here is going for headshots, but really what you're doing is you're trying to capture a point, basically, drop a bomb, and somebody's going to either defuse that or goes off and you win.
So, yeah. Do you want me to sort of go with the basic premise of the game?
I want you to go with that and also just speak a little bit about the sides, because not all is equal in Love and War.
Yeah, so you've got basically your defenders and your attackers. And your attackers, they've got 2 bomb sites to choose from. And you want to sort of work a strategy into getting onto that bomb site and planting the bomb. On the opposite side, the defenders, they're looking to deny those attackers actually getting onto the site. One of the key aspects of Counter-Strike is the economy. And every single player has their own individual money to their name. And you get money for frags, you get money for winning rounds, and you get money for losing rounds. Now, one of the interesting things that they brought into the game a couple of months ago, they changed the way that it works when you lose a round. You actually accrue a round loss bonus, which builds with each consecutive loss, so that it sort of gives you a bit of an aid in getting back into the game. Whereas
I'll slow you down for just a second. So just for the simplified version, basically you've got to buy your weapons, you've got to make sure that you're gunned up, and depending how you perform in the rounds, you have different incomes. And that income obviously used as an expense to buy the weaponry and utilities for your team. So keep going.
So utility, a very important thing to consider as well, the way that you can use that equipment. You have smokes, flashes, grenades, fire grenades as well, and you use these pieces of utility to get you towards the bomb sites, or to defend the bomb sites as well. So another very important element of the game to consider as well.
So stepping things up a bit, very cool. Now, as mentioned, CT and T, they're not equal all the time. Sometimes you can go a little bit behind on one side and still be ahead. Can you explain that concept a little bit more?
To explain that concept, you have to look at not really specific maps, but how the scene works in general. A lot of the time, you have a map that lends itself to the attackers, or in this case, the terrorists. And the defenders, in CSGO case, counter-terrorists. Now, on the defense side or counter-terrorist side, you normally have a bit more of an advantage purely based on, depending on what map it's on and everything as well, but once you get an advantage on defense, you want to capitalize on that on attack. And every map is specifically different in what side it favors.
And of course, this also favors individual players as well. Some guys like the long game, some prefer those close-knit skirmishes.
Yeah. That's actually, I want to get to that point, but I want to almost build on what Recoil just said. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Robert. It's, you were talking about how different maps lend themselves to different opportunities on the attacking and the defending side. And we've actually got that in a perfect depiction here between Dust and Nuke. Dust is the most evenly sided map in Counter-Strike. Doesn't matter. It's actually down to personal preference whether you want to start on the CT or the T side. Then we head over to Nuke, which is just...
Sorry, so you're on screen. Welcome to Comic-Con. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Getting back into it, we've got such a stark contrast here. We can actually see the flip side of the coin on Nuke, where you want to be on the CT side. You need at least 11 or 12 rounds on the CT side to be competitive because the T side is so hard to find rounds on. So you're always going to have that in the back of your mind. When you're on the CT side of Nuke, you lose the pistol. It's like, damn, guys, we need as many rounds as we can get right now, which actually increases the amount of pressure.
It does, indeed. And I mean, Nuke's changed over the years as well, right? Because we saw an iteration of Nuke not so long ago where it was very CT-sided.
Yes.
Very heavily CT-favored. I mean, I remember watching a game where they started on terrorists and 15, or started on CTs 15-0. The other team swapped back and went into overtime.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just shows how, Nuke specifically is one of those maps that have changed a lot over the years, and that dynamic has changed a lot as well.
Sorry, I want to reflect on something. The elephant in the room here. It's actually something I love about these events.
Should we give him a headset, maybe?
I think we call it back. It's actually one of the things I absolutely love about these kind of venues. And it reminds me of one of the first days that I was broadcasting event at a major expo. And some guy kind of walked up. I was casting time, walked up, tapped me on the back. He was like, hey, what are you guys doing? They had one of those cameras, like, oh, this guy's casting. He's talking about games. And, it's actually, although amazing, he actually managed to get up here. It's actually kind of amazing about the experience that we're in here. And it is something that you can join in. If you have a Comic-Con ticket, you want to be part of it, don't walk on camera. You can be on that camera, the one that shows the crowd.
Jump up and down.
Bring a sign, we don't care. But it is a magical time here, and that does show it a little bit. And we are literally moments away, gentlemen.
That's
so
like
I'm
the sponsors.
That's like
the sponsors.
Of course.
I mean, the reason that we're here today, Telkom, it's just we need to really push that because there's only, actually, like I said, there's only one reason we're here. It's all good to have the players and the organizations and all the rest, but we need sponsors behind the events to actually make it possible.
And even the internet possible. I want to point out this entire place is running on Telkom Fiber. So
there we go.
I got to say I'm kind of impressed that they're able to power this. It's a big building.
Yeah, it's a huge building.
So kudos to them. They also have another store around here.
And there's like another four of these big buildings. We're at Gallagher's, so there's like 5 different halls. So this times another. Yeah,
hall number 3 being the most important.
The most important. Hall number 3 right at the end.
3 is my favorite number right about now. And I'll tell you why. It's not just about the hall. It's the 3 people on the panel, yes. But it's also I want 3 games every game. Yeah. So
with overtime.
Series. With overtime, yeah. But
that's something actually interesting that we can just touch on quickly. Is because overtime is literally... We've seen a lot of overtime in recent months. I know, especially in the VS Gaming League, but also in other tournaments as well. There's been a lot of overtime, and that just shows how close the scene actually is.
Kind of cool that way.
And do you know where all the overtime has been going down on? On Dust 2.
On Dust 2.
It has been the map of overtime, and that's our first map here today. So let's talk about Dust 2. Like I said, it is the most evenly sided map in Counter-Strike. It actually comes down to personal preference whether you want to start on the CT or the T side. So that already negates the early advantage of choosing sides. So I'm so excited for this game. Actually, we couldn't get going any sooner.
It's going to be fantastic. And as we do, as we like to do, because we like to keep you on the cusp. We're going to take a short break. But I promise you, we come back. Oh, we're going to play some CSGO today.
Over 80 gigs of value with the Telkom September big deal. Get a free me 20 gig SIM-only data package for only 499 Rand per month, and we'll make it even bigger with 1,500 all network minutes, 3,000 Telkom to Telkom minutes, 2 gigs for WhatsApp, 10 gigs for music streaming, and 50 gigs for video streaming. Pop the SIM in your phone and you'll get all that for just 499 Rand per month. So go bigger than big with the Telkom September big deal. Call 10213, click telkom.co.za or go to any Telkom shop.
Free you with free me. Data packages at Telkom ezizana free calls, free WhatsApp, and free data for music and video streaming. Streaming turns your phone into a TV, bringing all the entertainment you love from movies, series, soapies, music, and sport right to your screen wherever you are. Feel free to be a streamist with free me. Available on Telkom prepaid and contract.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comic-Con Africa. Welcome to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters 2019. Man, we've been waiting a while for this. What a time to be alive. Two teams going rocking horns. WLG versus Sinister 5. Girls, what say you?
Couldn't agree more. Tools. We here at Comic-Con Africa 2019, and we are at the end of the road of the VS Gaming Championships. We got two big teams here. Remember, it's a single elimination, so one of these teams will be knocked out, and I cannot wait for this match to begin. Again, WRG versus Sinister 5. We have Dust 2, and we have begun. We have got a default coming out here. Very slow start for Sin 5, spreading, waiting out for some sort of pushes here. But some aggression coming on the side of WRG, starting to take some mid-control, pushing top as well.
G-Key, RMP, just finding a little bit of info, and Lois, he's in a back guard. He does understand that this is a very contentious point, but we do see the majority of the attacking side, Sinister 5, heading towards long. Diver is going to just go find out what's going on in the middle, making sure there's no aggressive CT players.
Yeah, and Sin 5 giving them absolutely nothing here. Brilliant defensive start to the round, not wasting any of their youth, not giving any of their positions known, and now they're going to walk out towards long. No utility, so completely walking around, not getting any info of WRG.
I like what they're doing here. So there's two different approaches they could be taking. They could walk up close long and deploy those two smokes nice and early, so giving the CTs no reaction time before they get onto the side, or they can do the deep smokes. But option one has been chosen. There we go. The smokes are getting deployed out. The flashes should come at any moment now. Dory should be blind, and then potential shooting superstar. Goals, what's going on here?
They have spotted him towards that box. They're getting onto the bomb site now. Full control for the side of Sin 5. They still maintain that ditch and long area for the control. And now the flank comes in, but flicked by Mango. We spoke about him earlier, and he gets the first headshot now. Sin 5 on the defense. They've got the bomb down. It is ticking, but the retake is still going. WRG taking it a bit slow, taking it cautious, getting all the teammates towards the side chair. This is going to be a bloodbath. Tools. First frag goes the way of Mistim.
Mistim gets the first. Moving on to the side. Mango gets a second for himself now. It is a 3v4 on the advantage of the CT team. Oh man, this is so intense. This is so dramatic.
All the players have been taken out by WRG. First round goes to Sinister 5. Man, I love the idea. I love the strategy employed, and it all came together, Sinister 5. Well thought out and well executed.
No utility on the CT side there for the retake, so it ends up just being a situation where the players have to plonk down and take the shots, and Diver just coming out with 3 frags there. You could see that WRG had the right idea with the crossfires, but Diver just making quick work of them now, forcing WRG into full eco, not investing anything into this round, but Sinister 5 respecting the opposition here, full rifles up.
Full rifles up, all the CTs pushing up middle, maybe Fire finds some guns, gets them out of position, Mango picks up one, and it should be a normal cleanup, missed him getting 3. And you know, when we look at these two teams, you do know that Mistem is a heavy hitter, Divo is a heavy hitter, and on the other hand of the coin, you do see Mango. You're looking at him for WRG just to have a bit of an impact into this game. There's a pause just to, you know, calm things down a little bit. Full buy will come out of Sinister 5, and WRG, you know, they're investing some sort of a utility, some sort of scout upgrade into this round. Do you see some body armor in a few plays and goals? Just what do you want to expect coming out of Sinister 5 here? This is their game to lose. They are, you know, coming to this tournament trying to take first place, and WRG are the underdogs. So in terms of WRG's approach, they're going to have to, you know, look for exploits coming out of Sinister 5, exploit their game, you know, try to get their youngsters to show a bit of razzmatazz around the map.
Yep, definitely. And I mean, for me, the biggest issue was off the bat, they were already at a slight disadvantage with this map veto. Sinister 5 definitely playing some sort of mind games, taking out one of their favorite maps, as the panel was discussing, in Mirage, and that forces maps to come out like this. And you talk about the heavy hitters of Mistem and Divo. I mean, these guys on this map specifically are known to get 40 frags, 50 frags. These guys, this is where they were born. They were brought up on Dust 2 in the free-for-all servers, and here they are, and they've already started off with a good start, which is a scary proposition for WRG. But that being said, the same is the opposite for the underdog team. I mean, they are slightly underdog here in terms of the performance over the year, but Dust 2 can lend its way to anybody that just lands the frags. But back into the game we are going, and a slight investment from WRG, going to look to buy in the next round. Sin 5 didn't lose many players, so keeping that economy building strong at the start of this game. So standard long control coming out here from the CT. He's going to try to get some pop shots with that scout, but again, a very slow and patient default from Sin 5, not making any early mistakes, any really over-aggressive pushes.
Earlier, I like how they put that long smoke there, just to keep the CTs there defending, even though there is no one home, just one player in the form of Flexi posting up long, making sure there's no aggression. Pop flash coming out of middle, Mistem clearing all the tight net and crannies in middle. It does seem to have control of middle, but you know, WRG, it is an eco run, so you don't really expect them to win a round like this. We do see the CT smoke coming down. It does look like a B split coming out from Sinister 5. It's just how do WRG defend this? They only have pistols.
They only have pistols, and they've already got the wrap down. The rotations are coming through CT spawn, but they have been smoked off. Mango definitely going to be heard there. They start spamming through the smoke, and now the jig is up. The B bomb site is under pressure. Can they defend it? Zero with the first. He's going to take a shot at the second. RMP goes down, and now the defense is with it. It's all up to Zero. He has picked up an AK. Can he get the job done? He's playing the sparks beautifully, unable to do it. And remember, no armor there, so a bit of a tough hold, but 3v2 situation here as the retake begins for WRG.
Yeah, I would like them to actually save this. They actually do spot hack him, trying to be over-aggressive there. Man, they're doing so much damage. I think this is sort of retakeable if they manage to get this kill. They do spot him out. Oh, Flexi deletes Spaz. And I think this is the round done for WRG. But Daru, I take that back. Hack him. We can't rely on him to clash ourselves round. That was a bit too close for Sinister 5's liking. A lot of damage done, not only to the economy, but that does surplus WRG for the time being. Oops, being brought up by RMP.
I think considering the positioning that Sinister 5 had during that round, you know, it looked all dead and buried with that wrap on the B side executed perfectly. But yeah, the retake, a lot of damage being done by the scout. And eventually when they moved into that bomb site, you know, Daru manages to close out not one, but two, and almost the third player, leaving only one player on the side of Sinister 5 alive. So now going into this buy round, they did invest slightly. You can see they've got a FAMAS, they've slightly weakened in the weaponry, but they've got that AWP up. Will Sin 5 bring their own AWP out?
I'd hope so. I mean, this map does lend its hands to the snipers of the game, the AWPs, the scouts. We did see the scout the previous round doing a lot of damage. Just so the map architecture is just so widespread. That's why you'll see a lot of splits coming into the A site, a lot of splits coming into the B site, and you see the pause is up, freeze time is up. We do see the Krieg, that's one of Hakim's favorite guns, and I do think it needs a bit of a nerf, but we didn't get that after the major. But you know, it just helps the terrorists out. Long smokes coming out to cut off information. Zio does manage to find himself in pit.
First gun round here, and Sinister 5 have upped the pace. A full cat rush towards this A bomb side. RMP about to be under a lot of pressure. Can he make this all? First shot. Gets picked up by Dive. Sin 5 have the side, but the CTs still maintain control of the long area, and this retake will be a little bit easier with that in mind, but there is a flank coming through there. But again, Sinister 5 have this A bomb side.
I hope they're aware of this flank here coming out of Flexi. He is the king of this, and they have to try keep the CTs at bay before Flexi can actually make a move. The flashes do come in. The retake has been activated. Sitting in Gandalf. The spray does come in from Spaz, and Zio taking out two. There's just one player left, and the bomb's not even planted from, so this should be easy for Doru to close it out, and that's the first round for WG, and that ball, that AWP did come into play like he spoke about goals.
It did come into play. None on the return of Sin 5. I expect him to pick one up if the economy allows, and Hakim is able to buy one and drop one for his team. We'll see in a moment if he can do so, but I just want to echo brilliant stuff from Zio. They're holding it like an absolute turret. We spoke about him before, the new IGL, the new captain, leading from the front chair, getting that triple kill and allowing that retake to happen. Zero chance with a scout though. No AWP in hand, but of course CT's being diligent, throwing that smoke across safely to the B bomb side. Sin 5 changing the pace here, slowing things down on the second round of rifle.
I like this off angle by RMP. It just lends its hand to that CT. So the T's always seem to jiggle peek at that angle, and it's a free kill from AWP shot. And done. Zio does walk in behind that AWP just to give him a bit of space here. That AWP shot debated out, and Zio takes down Hakim. Lovely play by those two, and that's what I like to call micromanagement by the two players there. And now they can readjust the CT defense, put one in the middle, two at B and two towards the A side. They've no long control, but of course Sinister 5 doesn't know that. Smoke blocking out Diver's vision, and he would have wanted to obviously rebuttal and get that trade.
You could see that Mistum instantly ran up to tunnels there to get that trade, and Divo aggressively looking for the rotation back to A, but really diligent stuff coming out of WRG. They're smoking it off, not giving the T's any sort of information. And as the time goes on here, the T's of Sin 5 are going to be under more and more pressure. They need to make a move soon. They have long control though. That is working in their favor.
It is working in the favor indeed, and they do slowly walk up into Cat. Doru is going to be in the point of contention here. He needs to be good for one at the very least, and the flash does come out. He tries to transfer a bit too early, then Diver takes him out. 4 HP, 35 seconds on the clock, so things are going to get very, very complicated very soon for the CT teams as they've lost long control and top control. The flashes do come out, and Diver picking up another, and I think they need to just get out of there and just readjust before they go for the retake, because the CT ramp has been mollied off and flashed off, but missed them. And Spaz are going to lock horns in a couple of seconds. A little jiggle peeks, try to get the advantage of the angle there. They're going to be jiggling back and forth to see who's got the upper hand. There we go, Spaz dancing and diving and weaving and waving at Mistum. They're not giving it up, and Spaz comes on top of that. Now it's back to a 3v3. Mango picks up one 3v2. Lexi evens the score out between the two players. RMP definitely would have wanted that shot by the player in pit. Zero chance, needs to stay alive here by Graffiti.
The CT is respecting the position here of the T side, despite them being so low, but that being said, the AWP not able to, well, it doesn't make a difference there for the AWP, but WRG going to get out of there. They did have a kit, but they just needed one more kill. I think if they managed to catch Flexi there towards long, it was doable, but Sinister 5 hang on and win the subsequent buy round. So 4-1 here to Sinister 5 as we kick this off, and again, the White Rabbit gaming economy is now in a tough position. They have saved 2 rifles moving into this round though.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams debate back and forth whether this is a CT-sided map or a T-sided map, but personally it just comes down to how prepared you are. But we do see Asuka Blade coming into play. No, Lexi is just getting to the left-hand side of upper tunnels to hold that angle in case the CTs don't, walk into the tunnel like they did the previous round with Zio. Smoke to cut off information, and stalemate at the moment, so I don't think they'll be going through that smoke. They'll be waiting it out.
Beautiful smoke timing there, and the whole side of Sinister 5 have moved towards that B tunnels, and WRG have got that long control. They're still not too aware of where the T's are playing, so a nice little bit of silent play here towards the B side. 4 and 5 going to wait for the smoke to deplete before they do any sort of execute. And you can see WRG not buying anything. They're just sticking to a 2-3 split here, not getting over aggressive, and now the mid control comes in, and this wrap on this B side now becomes a possibility, but still WRG not moving at all.
Your Spaz, I think he's going to get out timed, and he's not in the right position here. If he does, he needs to get the skill that The Org betrays him, and now that's just some sort of an opener, but the Molly does stop them, slow them down. And if you look at the mini-map there, the rotations are hesitantly moving towards that B side. The flashes coming out of Flexi in the smoke just to keep them busy, just to keep them preoccupied while they move towards Cat. This is a diversion, and they're heading towards that A-side goals.
But it's been read. WRG didn't move the whole round, but now they get the entry. Divo manages to get the angle, and they are aware of the play of Long. Since the 5 have changed it up, and they've got control of this A-bomb side, forcing RMP all the way back to the ditch, planting for top, so that position is completely negated now, and it's all up to Mango. He needs to get many kills here, and he's got a weak gun, but no, Flexi takes his head off, and again, WRG with these rifles are in no position to retake. Zio needs to get out of here if he wants to hold that economy, but traded out aggressively by Sin 5, and it leaves RMP to run away towards Long with this AWP, but he needs to get out of there. Sin 5 are aware of his position, and they're not going to let him get away with that AWP for free tools.
Yeah, I mean, I felt he needed to have an impact early on in that round. I mean, he was holding the angle crossing towards the side from Cat, and you know, of course, he didn't know that Sinister 5 had no flashes to push him off that angle. So, I mean, one, that would have at a player disadvantage. So he needed to even up the numbers before, you know, activating the retake, and he opted to actually fall back because, you know, there was little information he could have worked with. But he wanted to save the AWP for the next round, but he didn't even get to do that. At least the scout, he's got a scout to work with, but I don't think it's enough. That breaks the economy, and it scores 5-1, and they need to find a way back into this half.
Yeah, I'm glad that they are saving here, and RMP is going to take a couple of pot shots here with the scout, but a lot of pressure being put on him here in this middle area, and Sin 5 again with some early top control, and starting to look a bit confident here. Nicely flashed through middle there, and now the crossfire won't come into effect, and Sin 5 doing their diligence, zero chance with another pick towards Cat, so now they can retreat, group up, and execute on a side together, hack him with catching off that aggression, and obviously the CTs just needed to push and prod and try and get some sort of ground, but again, Sin 5 just looking clinical, moving up here towards the A-bomb sites again, which seems to be their side of choice. The only time we've seen them go on B has been on the eco rounds, and even on buy rounds, didn't commit to it at all. So,
I mean, even on the eco round that they potentially almost lost, it came down to a 1v1, so it could have played into the fact as to why they're heading towards the A. And I think the A side is a bit easier to breach. It is a bit easier to breach in that sense, but it's harder to hold the retake. That's why, you know, probably will opt to that decision. But the score is 1-6, but coming from White Rabbit Gaming RMP. There's money on Mango to maybe drop that off from here.
They do have faith in AWP. They have brought it out, but zero chance has one of his own.
We do see Mango actually picking up the AWP, so maybe he's got some different ideas as to how to use it into the A-side RMP on the rifle. Zero chance. I like this angle he's holding just to make sure no one's jumping up into plat. He's looking to punish them flash just to deter him a bit, but he has to regain that angle, waiting for the CTs to make a micro mistake. And do they give it to him? That's the question to be asked right now. As we do see on the minimap, players are putting some pressure into middle to force some sort of rotation from the CT side. They are stacking top again, and that's the opportunity though. Zero chances waiting for, gets deleted by Spaz. The Org wins it using that smoke. Zio kind of had to do that RMP, burning Diver alive in middle.
The CTs with such a strong setup here, they just quickly realized that Sinister 5 had little to no long control at the start of the round, so able to move back and complement their players in B with holding a tight top setup and ultimately get that molly frag. So now, for the first time in a gun round, WRG with the advantage, 5v3 here. The clock is ticking down, and Sinister 5, they do have long control working for them, but the bomb is still in T-spawn.
Yeah, that bomb is a long to go. He has to hard look back towards long doors. Flex, he has control of it, so I do see him creeping up ever so slowly. They're going to just wait for the timing, make sure they're all coordinated before he activates the push or being seen by any CTs. Mango is holding the angle there, and he has double duty in the sense he has to support the player from long. Antra holds the top, the angle, he gets the first onto Flex, he gets the second onto Hacker, missed him, picking himself a double, and I think that's what they were waiting for, missed him to actually some kills there, and that's the bomb. 15 seconds on the clock, and it's in a very awkward space, and he's have to do big work. He has to go for the ace to try and win this. The smoke does lovely work there. He gets the bomb, 7 seconds on the clock. Spaz doesn't really want to push it. He doesn't know what's behind it, but 3 seconds, 2 seconds, the bomb will go down, and he will wait it out. And now it just comes to 1v1, the two hot kids in the block.
This is insane. Missed him here for the ace to clutch it out for Sin 5. He's already got 4 and he's in such a good position here. He has planted the bomb on the side. Spaz slowly walking on this retake. A lot of pressure on him, and Missed him has done great work this round. But now Spaz moving onto the side. Missed him. Checks out the bomb. Oh, Spaz seems aware of his position. He gets the flash in and he gets the kill. He saves his team, and Spaz got the kit as well. Gets the glory, and Missed him. 1 frag short of making an absolutely devastating statement to his opponents of WRG.
That was such a lovely clutch from Spaz. He used everything, all the mechanics in his favor. He knew exactly where Missed him was. That's that swagger clutch we need to see out of Spaz. He's 6 for 6, so he's feeling comfortable. If he can pull up more of those plays and, you know, help his teammates out, you know, give them some motivation, that'll be great. If the score is 2-6.
The critical part of that, too, is that they need to capitalize on this round. They need to build some sort of economy on the CT side here. So this round, probably the most important at the beginning of this game. Sin 5 electing to slow things back down a little bit, waiting out towards T-Spawn here. Perhaps going to do some delayed long control, and WRG are positioned for this. Zio gets aggressive, gets the frag. He loves to do that sort of stuff. Going to pull out diligent stuff coming out of the IGL there for WRG, and going to restructure, fall back, make Sinister 5 work for their following pick, or work to make the odds even.
I like how they actually went for that kill, and if you actually noticed a little bit about the WRG, a lot of the initial plays, early round plays, have been coming out of Zio. We have seen him push that up a bit, he picked up that first kill in Hack'em. Now he's doing the same thing in Long, so he's everywhere. They can't really read his position, read where the aggression is coming from, which is kind of nice to see. He is low in HP, so he doesn't really want to be taking contact mid-round, which he does now. Now it's off angle at the very least if he's going to go for contact and putting Missed him down into 41 HP, but now a man down Sinister 5 have to recover somehow. The recovery mechanic is quite nice on their side. They have a well thought out playbook, so it shouldn't be too hard for them to find. And Zio going down, there we go, even odds 4v4, and they're going to pull out a middle. Reposition, 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 the name of the game.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of util to do so, so they're going to fall back towards Long. I imagine they're going to have this take. It's going to come down to whether Mango can be effective with this AWP. He got 2 last rounds. He does. He dodges the flash, and now he's going to get back. They talked about the this being a youngster, but look at this brilliant player, absolutely diligent, gets the pick, falls back off the angle, gonna do so again, and now the jig is up. Sin 5 are on their way from Long, and Mango gets another frag, goes for the no-scope, unable to get it, but now Sin 5 pressure to cross onto the site, and a lot of spam getting done through the smoke. There 8 seconds left, the bomb must go down, and Missed him with another frag. It leaves it all up to Mango with that AWP. I feel like they rushed that
a lot of work for this kid on his hands, a lot of work on his shoulders, a lot of pressure. If you get that no-scope, I would have cried, but he's looking for that M4. This AWP has run out of bullets. There's so much for him to do. We're rocking the hard place, and Missed him finishes off. I told you about the comeback mechanic Sinister 5 have, and they have a well-thought-out playbook, and their decision-making late round is so on point, and it's so clear and coordinated. They were able to actually get onto the side, even though the clock was not on their side, even though the numbers weren't on their side. Everything looked like they were going against them, and they did recover quite nicely. Their WRG forced an eco round. You spoke about how they needed to string rounds together, and they weren't able to do so, and this is going to hurt them. Then they potentially lost the first half. If you look at it, you want to maybe get 8 rounds, and that's how I look at. Nice molly, actually, nice nade. Investment is small utility, actually. He might actually let himself a first kill. Veto takes him out, and he was the only player there. No one to actually work off his damage, work off the space he created there. And most of the CT players, that's heading from the B side goals.
Yep. They did a nice little tunnels push there, and they've pushed all the way through towards T-Spawn here, so they are going to be well aware that the Ts are still sitting around there, moving towards Long now with the bomb. Zero-Chan still watching the flank though, but all the WRG players are now taking mid-control, going to move towards top, but Sin 5 again, sticking as a unit, all 5 players geared here towards Long, and again, going to take control of this A bomb site. So clinical stuff being shown by them, giving this anti-eco round a little bit of respect here, which, we are at the LAN finals. It is single elim. You cannot afford to give your opponents any sort of leeway, any sort of chance to get back, and Sinister 5 are doing that beautifully.
Yeah, and just bear in mind, this pick was made by WRG, so things aren't looking too great for them at the moment, but we have seen some glimpses of interesting plays, some impact plays coming out of all the players on their side, so, things aren't too dire just yet.
Yeah, and again, Dust 2 is one of the maps, one of the very few maps that can really swing either way. It all depends on the momentum. It depends on the fire that your team brings to the table. So you know, not such a disaster that they've already lost 8 rounds here to Sin 5, but they need to pick it up. They need to step it up, and they've managed to pressure or put pressure on Sinister 5, but Sinister 5 in those late rounds, as you spoke about earlier, Tools, it doesn't matter if there's only 10 seconds on the clock. They know what needs to be done. They brute force their way at the last second to get onto those bomb sites, and they get the job done. Ultimately putting the retakes under a lot of pressure and perhaps forcing some mistakes that the less experienced players on the side of WRG aren't used to dealing with.
Yeah, and that's sort of the theme you're going to be seeing throughout these two teams. A lot of impact, big plays coming out of the youngsters from WRG will be seen, but towards the end, towards the clutches, to keep them composed, to keep them coordinated, you do need that. And Sinister 5 side, they actually have that. They have quite a good balance of players. Diver, a heavy hitter, Mr. a heavy hitter. Hack'em closes out those rounds. Zero chance with that, or keeping them composed. But on the WRG side, they are a bit of a newer roster. We did see Zio just joining from Sinister 5, so you know, again, we spoke about the panel actually mentioned it earlier about, you know, him having a big impact, not only as IGL, but, you know, on the scoreboard. And it is coming into fruition, but slowly but surely, the Sinister 5 seem too strong at this current point in time.
They do indeed, and they've changed things up, negating that long control, but WRG doing the same thing, forfeiting it completely. So favoring the CT sides at the start. Jamango with an aggressive angle here towards top. Gonna get pushed back by Diver though. Beautiful volley placement there. Pushes the AWP back into a less comfortable position or less aggressive position there. So Sin 5 already making that utility work. Nice little pot shot there from RMP. As you notice, there's a double AWP setup coming for the CT side here. Sin 5 elected to do this B split that they have enjoyed previously. RMP gets a frag through the smoke, and now the split is coming, and it's all up to this V-bomb side. Spaz needs to go big. He gets one. He's put under pressure. Another one comes through window, and now 3v3 retake here for WRG. Sin 5 have that V-bomb side.
Yeah, I just love how they actually executed middle up into that B split there, doing the double smoke. Not only for CT spawn, but on the box to negate the AWP is peeking from that ramp, but the retake is coming in anytime soon. Needs to be activated. They do have utility, but the counter utility just keeps coming in, keeps slowing down that retake, it's eating up the clock. They have a smoke, they have a molly, it just depends where they place them. Smoke for tunnels is coming in now, and they have 2 flashes to work with. Let's see how Hack'em defends this. He is the clutch master after all. He picks up a lovely Kalontudaru. So much work is being done by Hack'em. Zero chance. Aiding him out then. It's down to one man RMP. That was a bit ambitious from the lad, but Sinister 5 closed it out 9-2. And so clinical from Sinister 5, from the split towards even the retake, how they're positioned, Hack'em peeking at the right times. They're all complementing each other quite well, girls.
And what's nice to see is the trust. I mean, you got the triangle set up, and you can just see Flexi's playing anti-flash. Hack'em is just occasionally peeking for the window push, and they all managed to catch perfect timings and shut down that retake. And I mean, we all know B is one of the most difficult sites to retake in the game, but let's get back into it here. Sin 5 changing the pace up, rushing in towards B. The flashes out. Tio's under pressure. He can't get anything done, and now Sin 5 have got that B-bomb site. What a change of pace here.
Lovely as well. I mean, just thinking about it, they know it's an eco round, and they haven't really rushed B at all, so they just did one and done B rush. I don't think they'll be using it again in the future, just to, you know, spark a bit of pace there, just to unsettle WRG in terms of decision making, where they want to stack in the next eco round. It helps out quite nicely there, and you can't really get some kills if you're blinded, so it's going to be tough for Zia to actually hold that B side.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, and, you know, not to take away from him as a player, but I mean, again, Sin 5 with their util, you know, constant streams of flashes and smokes and just using it to perfection. They've got a game plan, they're executing it, they don't mind if it's fast, if it's to the last minute of the round, and they're putting on an absolute clinic here on Dust 2. And this is what I was afraid of when I saw the veto, is that this map is one of Sin 5's best maps, and WRG ended up having to pick into it because Sin 5 eliminated Mirage. So Sin 5 here, playing some mind games and showing that they are here to play. They are here to get onto the next round of the tournament. But it's not all over and said and done yet. We still have another half of the game, but WRG need to get something here, Tools. What do you want to see from them?
I want to see some explosives. I want to see Zio get in their faces once more. They need to, you know, maybe find a kill somewhere, maybe make it a 4v5, then they can reset into a normal stock standard defense. Lovely nade, zero chance, might even die here. 25 HP, gets away with his health, limping intact, limping. Put some flashes out there, and this is what I'm talking about, some aggression. Now they have upper B control. Hack'em is going to double back at any point in time and find surprises, find Christmas presents, or his death.
This is what I like to see as well, some aggression, and now they've got long control, they've got B tunnels, but Hack'em punishes the aggression. That was what you were talking about. Christmas came early, and Hack'em picking up 2 frags there, and Sin 5 not reacting off of it, forcing the CTs to make rotations, to change positions. They have no idea where the T side are, and now they've got the opening frag towards long, as I mentioned it, and again, Sin 5, all of the players gonna get that A-bomb site for free here.
Yeah, it's so tough because I wanted them to do aggression. I wanted them to push long with the middle or pushed up, but that's a bit too far. What they needed to do there is actually flank one towards CT spawn and double back the player from B. They didn't need to push down those stairs because they had to have known there's someone holding it. I mean, the spacing and trading wasn't even there for them, so it gets tougher and tougher for them. The mounting gets steeper and steeper. They need to hold on to these 2 guns and potentially try get a 4-11 half. At the very least, have some sort of cushion going into the terrorist half, some sort of area for mistakes, if you will.
Yeah, and now Sin 5 have spotted the player in T-Spawn, and now they will start hunting. They've got a wealth of economy, so they don't mind throwing their lives away to try to get rid of this AWP. They know that WRG need it, so they're going to hunt him, and it does happen. No save for WRG, so going into the next round, they're either going to have to force a save for the last round, so they are in a tough position here.
I mean, look at the scoreboard jump. Missed them sitting on 18 kills, Divo on 13, Flexi on 10. On the other side, we only have Mango doing a lot of work then, Spaz and Zio from time to time. And, you know, it's reflecting on the scoreboard. It's reflecting in the plays that they don't seem very comfortable at the moment. They're making, I wouldn't say elementary mistakes, but mistakes that Sinister 5 are pushing out of them. They force them to make these mistakes, and they don't really have I wouldn't say a plan B to fall back on, but all their pressure is forcing all these cracks coming out of them, and you can just look at their buy. I mean, pots and pans, knife and forks, they got a scout to at least work with, but it's tough, Goals. It's very tough.
It's not much, and if you just look at the weaponry and the util on the other side, I mean, they can play patiently and slow, but Spaz gets them a breath of fresh air here, gets the man advantage at the start of the round. Beautiful little off angle there on the side of the B-bomb site. But now, 4v5, Sin 5 with the wealth of util to work with.
Man, how good does it feel when you're a team and, you know, all the pressure is on you and the team he finds a kill, puts it to a 4v5, it's relieved so much, and potentially another one, in fact, a shotgun kill there. He doesn't expect the guy behind him, gets traded out, and so...
Lots of action. Spaz manages to hold that middle off. That was really important. He flees back to the B-bomb site. But look at this. RMP got the bomb in spawn. Sinister 5 have left it there but missed him. Playing really slowly here. Going to move back up towards Suicide now. But RMP, does he spot him? He does. He gets the timing right. And WRG put one on the board. They need to follow up with this other gun round and take the pistol if they have any chance of getting back into this game. But I'm glad to see that they're still committing to their players. Zio still getting up in their face and getting frags, trading out, and ultimately it goes their way finally.
And I guess that's what you need in a team like WRG. You need everyone to be aggressive. Aggressive upper B, aggressive middle, aggressive cat, aggressive long, just to put them in a complete disarray as to where the actual majority of the attack is coming from. Found those 1v1s and win it. Spaz found his 1v1 and won it. Zio did the same with that shotgun. So if everyone can keep doing that, this is insane. This is hectic. And this is what Zio is known for. If he can just find one kill here and a trade from his team, he could have gotten worked up, but that was a bit of ambitious from him. There was just too much utility, too much confusion from him to actually get a kill and get out.
But Sin 5 got to empty some of their pockets, but reposition entirely, and you can see it's forced rotations from the CTs. They've already got a 2-2 split going, and one of the players from A has already moved into CT spawn here. So if Sin 5 change up their strategy here, they can catch WRG completely off guard. But WRG choose to re-aggress, and they're just throwing bodies at the problem here, and Sin 5 are just capitalizing. Again, Hack'em able to hold that push off, and Spaz going to go for the peak. He gets one, he pre-fires, he almost gets another, but Hack'em gets the better of him now, and there's tons of pressure here on the defense of WRG. They kind of splitting around, already dropped into CT spawn here, so it's a bit of a messy round, but Daru able to pick off the bomb in lower tunnels tools. This gives them, this is a breath into the round. They can actually take this.
And RMP knows that there's a player in the CT spawn, so if he can combat, but unfortunately Daru gets taken down, and I think they'll just head towards the A side. They know RMP is an A player, so if he can just hurdle there quite quickly and try to catch them moving into the side, it could work out. There's two flashes, the molly from Diver, so I mean, potential to lock him up, but this clutch is still doable. It is the last round, so he has to go for it.
He does hear the flashes coming in, so he's got a bit of work to do here. Saw at least two. He knows at least two players on the right-hand side, but Sin 5 have set up their triangle. One back flat, one in the bomb site. Doesn't manage to catch him off. Trade step by missed him, and Sinister 5 close out the half, 12-3 on the terrorist side. So strong start from them. I mean, you can see they mean business.
That's quite a statement from Sinister 5. They do mean business. Mr. means business. Divo means business.
Big business.
They're hitting shots left, right, and center. Not only that, they seem so composed. They seem so aware of what needs to happen and what they're doing at that current point in time. They know how to counter small aggressions coming out of WRG. It was misplaced aggression from time to time. So let's get back into the second half here, pistol round. They need this goals.
We want to see this pistol round go the way of WRG if they need to get back into this game. And a slow start, nice little
smoke, I think, just to... But that other smoke failed, so that could, I don't know, hurt their plans.
Is this a fake? No, it seems like one player is going to commit towards middle, but all the rest of them, this is a beautiful fake. They forced the rotations into CT, but they're unable to get the kill. Flexi's just making absolute work here with Divo as well, and they've ripped this breach in half. It was so beautiful in theory, but unfortunately, Flexi just not giving them any space to work with it all. Gets the double headshot, and now it's all up to Zio. The IGL of the team here, he needs to try and just get this bomb down and isolate these duels, but look at some 5, dude, giving him nothing, man.
Nothing at all. Zio needs to get some money from the team. Step 1 is done. Now there's 4 more steps to go in the form of players. He needs to find these one-on-one engagements. He exposes himself to everyone and gets taken down. At least you got to kill them. They kind of, I don't know if they need to force up the next round. I don't know what the correct decision is for WRG. But in terms of they probably have a certain plan, something in place because they need to come back into this game. The score is 13-3. Maybe they force bar this round, maybe they don't, but if they leave it too late, Sinister 5, again, they seem too clinical, they seem way too aware, way too good at this point in time. Everyone's hitting their shots.
Hitting their shots and making very, very little strategic and positional errors. So we do see the force up come out from WRG, so they've got 2 scouts. They do have an AK-47, so they're investing everything into this round. If they don't get anything, you know, it's already some 5 on 14, looking at match points, so let's see what they can do here on this Eco round. Mango starts it off strong, gets the pick off onto Zero Chance, and that's the way they wanted to open this round since they invested so much into it. It's all in at this point, Tools.
And now, I'd even say they have the advantage in terms of weaponry over here. I know there's 2 FAMASs and M4, but there's an AK, a Deagle, 2 scouts. Scouts already done some work here, and depends where they go next. The next pathing they take will determine how this round will unfold. We have 2 players sitting towards the A side. 1 close door missed him. Is aware that there's some sound cues jumping back and forth. The mid-to-B smoke will come out, but perhaps Mr. will push in and catch this player unawares. Stalemate at the moment. Some waiting for mistakes made by Sinister 5. It is a 4v5, so they need to make the next move, in fact. But WRG just prodding and probing, takes a shot to the chest. Divo doesn't want to peek any further, and that's what I was waiting for. Daru double tags, so it's down to a 4v3. Still doable for Sinister 5 here.
Flexi spots this player towards long. He knows he's under pressure, but gets traded out by Daru, doing crazy work here with the scout, but gonna get picked off by Mistim. Hackman and Mistim forcing this retake, but he pushes too far. RMP and Daru close it off.
I just want to say, I love the comments coming out of Spaz and Daru. There's Spaz just jiggle peeking, keeping. I think it was Mistim at long. Probed on him, waiting, keeping his crosshair placed on him, and then Daru just swung out from top, scouted him in the head, and they just fell down from there. Lovely work coming out of WRG. A few more of those rounds. I mean, I just want to have a good look to see how the communication is going. I can see that by the player movements on the map and how they're talking to each other, the utility usage for each other, that micro synergy, that teamwork. We do see them running down Cat, and Divo has so much work to do.
Divo's waiting, they're waiting for it, they've got a double setup. Divo is doing crazy amounts of work, but it trades out in the favor of WRG, fortunately, but 2 players are very, very low, and now it's up to Zero Chance. He falls back, he wants to try and re-engage, reposition to get a better, angle for the retake here, and him and Mistim are going to move towards top. They have got some weapons to work with.
They have a lot of utility here to slow down the CT retake here. Look at their health, so this needs to be done quite thoroughly, quite thoughtfully. Bomb is planted for pit, so maybe someone can get across there, but you can see they don't want to make any mistakes. They do have a flash. Maybe they're going to pick up some guns, upgrade, save it for the next round, Sinister 5. That is the wiser, smarter choice there. I mean, they have a lot of rounds to work with, so they can't afford to, let WRG have this one. They can concede this round. WRG, another round on the board for them. If they can just crawl their way back round by round and use their attack pauses quite effectively, could have a game in our hands, Goals.
Yep, and I mean, they've started off well here. They managed to win that force buy round and convert the subsequent buy round, so putting a little bit of pressure for the first time in this game, I'd say, onto Sinister 5. So let's see if they're able to handle it, but ultimately they are going to now save this round and fully invest into the next. So still not expecting too much, but that's where we're going to see the action. That's the round that matters, I think.
Definitely agree. Not too sure if it's a tech or tack, but it does give players.
Looking extremely strong here already. 24 frags on the board.
Have a look at the flash assist, etc. Just click the more stats there. Yeah. Throwing 13 flashes, 2.66 KD, ADR 114.
He's doing work, man. He's supporting, he's carrying, he's fragging, he's got high headshot percentages, he's doing everything
also,
right now.
I agree, but at the same token, you can see Zio is also trying his best. His utility damage is quite high. His effective flashes are quite high. And, you know, he's doing his best as an IGL, you know, try to add value, add impact that way. He just needs the rest of the boys to rally up behind him, maybe give them some motivation, some goals.
Some wild Zio noises to make,
exactly
to get the guys loose, but still a mountain to climb here. 13-5 for the side of Sinister 5.
I mean, what do you think is going through WLG's head at the moment?
We're back in it, boys. We're back in it. We won the round we weren't supposed to, and now we've got to just build on that platform, build on that start.
I agree. Do you know, with a map like Dust too, it can be very punishing towards the CTs, especially because you definitely want those AWPs. You want those stacks of utility, those flashes, those mollies to be able to defend, to be able to retake. So if White Rabbit Gaming can keep Sinister 5's economy quite honest, I mean, that could sort of help them edge towards, you know, at least getting 13-13 or potentially win it, or getting scores at least close enough to feel confident going to the next map. If they do potentially lose it, some long flashes coming up, but there's no one at home. Just some eyes in it in the form of Zero Chance, just dealing it and trying to get a headshot. They can't really see because that Molotov is emitting some smoke.
Yep, but WRG doing the right thing here against this anti-eco, but a pop flash through the smoke. Are they expected? They get blind as hell, but unable to do anything is Zero Chance, and now the bomb site has been given to WRG. They've got the bomb down, they've got Util, they've got the better guns. Can they hold it down? Boost coming up, but a Molly gonna displace it. Missed him, he's gonna be forced to push through the smoke. He's just kind of waiting. Doris spams him through the smoke now, and now he's sitting at this car position. Trades are happening, Mango with the double, and the pressure is off now. WRG hold on to all their weapons, and now it's all up to Hacken with nothing but a USP. But a weird investment from Sin 5 there. They ended up buying some SMGs and stuff, and you can see that their economy is not great. No AWP on the table for them. Are they going to buy? They are going to buy into it. No util for the CT side. Tools, is this a mistake?
You potentially could see some micro mistakes coming out of Sinister 5 at this point in time. They don't really have the full set of utility, but you know, they must feel like they're more confident than WRG. I mean, the shots are hitting, so they may be relying on the aim more so than the actual game plan utility to walk with or play off. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mr. was irritated that round. He definitely wanted a boost, but we do see the warp walk into the B side there. The smoke is going to come out goals.
It's pop flash, but Mr. do work. He gets traded out. No support from Hacken. He needs to go big. He doesn't spaz with the flick off. He's blind. Now it is a 3v4 situation. Two players are very, very low. As you can see, one gets taken out on the cross there. But WRG have got this B-bomb site. They have a player waiting and flanking in the middle. This is important. RMP needs to make work of it. He does. He gets the timing perfectly. He's going to pick them off. Can he get the frag? He does. And now this retake is broken. The spine has been pincered, and again another frag for him, and Mango closes it out and gets Flexi. WRG convert the buy round, the forced buy round from Sin 5, and now again no money in the bank, and WRG are clawing their way back into this. A team effort to do so as well. No players sticking out too much. Mistum's almost on 30 frags, Tools.
He's almost on 30 frags, and I do think he even will get it. Could this be the resurgence of WRG? It does seem that beat take, I mean, even if it was a save round, even if they did save, it would have worked, and they did it against the gun round, which definitely helped them going into the next. They should be able to convert a round like this. We do some upgraded pistols, some Arnhem, Sinister 5, so, I mean, it could go south, but I don't think WRG will let this. They look like they're quite clean at the moment. Zio picking up that long kill, and they have top control and long control, something you would love as a terrorist, but getting pinched slowly but surely. Hacker picking up a kill, Dava picking up another. The awareness. Goals, what's going on here?
Oh, it's closed out there, but I mean, I really enjoyed what WRG did at the start. They heard multiple flashes, so they should have been aware that there was multiple players defending that A-bomb site, but it got a bit messy. But that being said, closed it off, managed to punish Divo, and ultimately, again, walk away with this round. Not much in it. I mean, Sin 5 had to invest little to nothing so that they can buy and solidify their position in this map, because, you know, since we talked about it being pretty much almost over, Sin 5 have got nothing. They have not got a single round or even close to getting a round. So, but I mean, that being said, next round will be the first buy round. I imagine we'll see an AWP coming out for the CT side, and that's when WRG are going to be put under pressure. That's where their positioning, their util, their strategy will be tested, because that AWP can get aggressive, it can be defensive. They need to treat it with respect. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, WRG, they get a bit reckless towards the end there, and that A split there, losing 2 players. So if they can just tighten up on that and make sure the utility usage is on point, leaving there's no gaps, no opportunities for the AWPs actually to come in. We do see the double AWP missed by even on a scout, so he has to get a FAMAS diver. There's no kit, there's one kit at the very least.
No
at the
kit.
very least. But
No
Mr.
kit, no
is light
glory.
and neutral. Double AWP, this is what I like to see.
Yep, I spoke about the AWPs, and we see 2 of them come up, and WRG taking things slow, taking long control, very, very patiently. Season 5 don't care about it as they get very, very aggressive here towards Cat. Does WRG expect this? I don't think they do. This type of aggression is not something we really see, but Spaz picks him off as he's running. He must expect something more. He does, and does he get it? He doesn't. Plexi trades him out, but now going to see more players. Beautiful trading and spacing coming out of this default setup from WRG, and now they're taking the A-bomb side.
The A-bomb side is completely open. Hakim aggressing into middle 0, taking out 0 chance. Hakim responding with the zone. It's a 3v2 at the moment. It's an advantage of WRG. The bomb should go out on any point in time here, and the utility should potentially go down catches to hold off that retake. This fight is important for Doru. He loses this fight. That's the opening for Sinister 5. Into this round, Doru comes alive, gets his first.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He progresses with the clock. Clock's rock. And that's 9 rounds in the ball for WRG. This is the resurgence goals. We didn't speak about this, and the small mistakes coming out of Sinister are showing those cracks in that defense, are showing that aggression top did not pay off.
Way too aggressive there towards top. I mean, it looked like such a good plan, but once WRG scouted it out, Spaz with a beautiful reactionary shot there, all the attention gets focused on towards middle, and the Sin 5 have already committed. They've already crossed the crossing angle, so punished, absolutely punished by WRG.
Exactly that, and that's what I like about a player like Spaz. He's been around the scene long enough to have his awareness at a certain level, to know where the, I'd say, blind spots are on the map, and, capitalize quite well given that information, and even the trade coming in from RMP. You can see the teamwork is getting better and better, the comms are getting better and better, and perhaps Sinister 5 is sweating at this point in time. Good pause coming out of them, and they have to be able to just get the economy on point. They need to be able to restabilize the guns that they wanted. I know for a fact Divo didn't want that gun as he misbought that scout there and spawn. If he had an M4, potentially things could have gone differently, and that's where you start seeing the cracks within individuals coming out of this game like that. But it is the first game of the day, it's the first game of the tournament, so let's just take it easy. Let's just take it easy.
Yep, I mean, there's still potentially 2 to go for whoever ends up coming out victorious here still have a chance to get to the other team has to come back. So, I mean, it is, get that first game shakes out the way. We know how tough it is, first time on the stage for some of these guys. So I'm really, really happy to see WRG finding some form here and making this match closely contested. I mean, we are at the VS Gaming Championships, the finals of the whole year. It all culminates to this place, to this stage, to this point in time. It's all or nothing at this point. And what a game we have so far for the first one.
Agreed. I mean, it's been 9 months. Been playing each leg up until this point. That's a whole baby goals.
Like
that's
you
an
said,
entire
it's
baby.
a whole baby's worth of time.
So it's a
and
lot of
effort.
work.
It's a lot of work, definitely, and this is where it all happens. It all comes down to the best teams. Even though there's 8 teams, there's favorites, there's underdogs. But as the panelists discussed earlier, CSGO in South Africa has never been as close as this. It's never been as closely contested. We haven't seen as many overtimes, and it's getting shown here in the game. I mean, if you've spoken to some of the people, some feeling very confident about Sin 5, but WRG the same thing, and here we are, neck in neck. WRG clawing their way back into this game. What do you want to see? What do you think is going to change? I feel like the long control battle has not really been seen. Both teams kind of negating it or delay taking it with numbers. I mean, do we want to see something different there?
I do want to see something different, and I think the long take has developed into a well thought out sort of segment of the map. The amount of layers and detail that's been put onto it, that long smoke in the corner, the consistent flashes going over. Even I've seen P's running out anti-flash from the double doors into pit, just to be able to get that control. That's how important it is. And if you don't have your long take thought out, if you don't know those details, those layers put in place, it's going to be hard. So rather just not go for it, rather hold top, rather retake it. Maybe they're putting more time into their retakes. But what I want to see from Sinister 5 is just more composure, just make sure they get it to a point where they're able to retake with the advantage numbers. So if they're losing out the initial fights, maybe just play a bit back, turtle a bit more, and from WG's point of view, I want to see more aggression, I want to see more pressure, more pace. I want to see them just confuse the CT defense, make them over-rotate from the A side to the B side, force them to make stacks in terms of, stacking the A side, the B side. I want to see that from WG. I want to see them disarray Sinister 5 from in a certain perspective.
And you can just see Sin 5 with some serious aggression coming out from both sides. I mean, they had some nice B rushes in the previous half, but I mean, even on the CT side, which is generally defensive, pushing up towards Cat on that buy round, very confident in their individuals, very confident in their map control, and like you say, WG playing back, playing defensive. Maybe a change of pace will be something that'll catch Sinister 5 off guard. And just remember, we're 1 or 2 rounds away here from them being back into this game, being neck and neck. But now the pause is underway. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting back into this game. WRG 9, Sinister 5 at 13. We have a buy round, well, full buy round here from WRG. Sin 5 are investing some armor and some pistols into it, but WRG splitting up evenly, 3-2 here, moving towards the B-bomb side. Sin 5 electing to take that long control. Not going to find any contest so far. So, slow start to the round here, Tools.
Slow starts indeed, just a smoke to cut off some information from the CTs, but I do say it helps them in a bit, but majority of the attacking team is walking up Cat, making sure it's clean. They need to clean up these nooks and crannies, close doors, close upper B, close top, make sure the pistols are at a distance where the AKs can trump them.
Can flourish indeed, and see all those angles are being held by Sin 5. Diver, absolutely deadly player here, can cause an absolute disaster towards his middle doors, which is where WRG are tending to put their pressure, which goes against what you suggested, but he gets one traded out though. Brute force is the name of the game. Missed him playing close. Daru's absolutely coming alive here, and this B split is coming into effect. Quickly pushes through the smoke, does Flexi. Hackham has to do a lot of work. He does. He gets traded out. That was so tight. Zero Chance has got a chance in this. Both players extremely low. Bomb is not down yet, but WRG slowed things down.
He killed
himself.
Himself. Now it's down to Dari. If they lose this round, they're going to punch themselves in the gut, because I would. Zero Chance walking from upper B. Daru has pushed the door, so Zero Chance has a lot of work to do. He has no information as to where this player is. And I think Daru has a small inkling as to where Zero Chance is. Zero Chance has no armor, so the aim penetration might hurt.
Oh, the timing! He's so confident right now. Daru ripping heads.
Nice.
It is insane.
What a recovery, and he needed it. Mango must be sweating right now, burning himself alive. And that's common. I've seen that a lot. Players throw a molly towards window, it ricochets a bit awkwardly and sprays him to the side a bit late after you've planted the bomb. But full buy coming out of Sinister 5, double orb. Full buy coming out of Sinister 5. WRG, orb shot middle doesn't really land it. 3 players heading towards B.
Yep.
Sinister 5 and the long rush coming out. They do forfeit long, so they should opt to boost one and take Cat control. But we do see Zio is even creeping out Cat, so they might lose Cat and long. Stall so important.
Zio is such a pivotal point of this round. He's going to get aggressive, but Flexi gets the better of him. Sinister 5 know exactly what WRG are up to. All the players are stuck towards this long area. They need to get onto this bomb site. They've aggressed B. They've got tunnels. There's no options to fall back on. WRG need to commit, and Zero Chance spams the smoke. What a timing, and slowly this attack is getting broken apart now, and Sin 5 electing to just take it even more slow. They've got long. They're starting to gear towards that side of the map, and this retake is going to be extremely difficult to hold off. Mango needs to go absolutely huge here in this pit, but 2 players are waiting for him on the other side, and they're not going together. Mango spots only one, not aware of the other player. He needs to re-peek and get that player, or find that information, and he doesn't manage to get the shot. 1v2 situation here. It's all on Daru, the man that's been performing so far, but he gets picked off by Hackham towards long. The bomb will begin to get defused, but he can't find it. Does he have enough time for this, Tools? He does have a kit, though. He does have a kit.
Got me stressing there, guys. I thought he didn't have a kit. You got me stressing.
There was smokes, there was flashes, there was all kinds of
confusion. There was a lot.
But Sin 5 recover.
Recover indeed, and it's quite an important round for them. If they lost that, they definitely would have been stressing even more. Zero Chance. That smoke kill, I think that was one of the important things in that round, is as well as that the double flank from long, the double lurk from long. That's how you want to retake essentially sometimes when you've lost. I think CT controlling that, and a point Cat control. You send too long, even though he baited his team out. He did end up killing Mango from long, but they do have enough money to buy again, and there's a quick Cat rush there, and they're going to face 2 opponents there. Flexi and Divo, and that Molly does slow them down. Divo loses his fight out to Daru.
Oh, Daru!
The double! Insane headshots, and maybe that speeds up the pace with the Molly inside, so there's no one at home. There's one player left in the defense there in the form of Zero Chance. He needs to land his shots. He needs to be good for 2. At the very least, he's missing all of them at the moment, but he has to keep repositioning. He stays alive at the very least.
But his teammates are here to support. He goes for another and misses, but Mistum gets that off now and takes another shot. 4v2 situation. Both players are on the side. Hack'em needs to get that one. RMP gets him traded up by Mistum though. 1v3 scenario. Mistum needs to go huge. Probably needs to try to get a rifle, but there's nothing around him here. And now WRG holding, spotting there towards the ramp. But Daru, this man is just MVPing in these rounds. And if they manage to make this comeback, it's all off the shoulders of him. And he wasn't one of the players we were going to speak about.
And potentially that was the reset there. Zero Chance missing a few shots, which gave them the opportunity to actually get onto the side scot-free there. Mistum even came in to support, and it still wasn't enough. That forces them to a semi-buy with the scout, and man,
I'm really enjoying this play from WRG here. They ride, they go, and they die together, and they commit to whatever the team is doing, and it's working out beautifully here for them on the T-half. Sin 5 pushed back onto an eco. Mango with the first frag, and Flexi tries to get a trade here. Unable to do so.
That was quite important for Mango to actually get out there scot-free. He almost lost his life there. 52 HP. They have cat control at the very least there to work with, and upper B control. I still don't know any information as to what's happening at B, but we do see Hack'em slowly but surely potting into that B side. Zio is watching it, but it's a B split, does come in. Missed him, picks up a kill, has a few more bullets, gets 2, and that's huge. He's good for 2, and it leads into a 3v3. Much more doable. Hack'em taken up by Mango, and I think that's a nail in the coffin for this round so far. I mean, RMP's holding the smoke, so.
But again, they must have known that the economy is low, and it's such a risky play to actually commit through those middle doors, and you can see Mistum almost punishes them. He actually does. He gets 2 frags, but WRG on the recovery, and they close it up neatly, maintaining majority of their weapons. So moving closer and closer to that 14-round scoreline. That Sinister 5 have just changed, but haven't got much to show on their CT half here, Tools.
Yeah, the CT half does seem a bit flat, and one round they missed vault, in the second round they got outdone in terms of Daru's play. So all the gun rounds aren't going their way, which is it's just so tough to work with. And when you finally find the amount, everything you need in that gun round, it gets taken away by a player like Daru. Spaz, Flexi picking up a kill through a smoke. The lovely work for him. They should be backing off now. Reposition, take top control. Just make sure they have one or the other.
Yeah, and they do that perfectly. They do use quite a bit of util, but it's definitely worth the frag that they got in Daru. Beautiful spam smoke there at the start of the round. And now WRG have to make an adjustment, need to figure out what the game plan is. Try and even the odds somehow. I mean, right now, Sinister 5 are giving them absolutely nothing, which I like to see.
I'm not too sure what's going on. Your RMP is on his own mission out about, along with the rest of the players with 2 upper B, one in the middle. I definitely would like to see them do an A split here since they have long control. That fight with RMP is going to be so important, but so the one by Zio. Little prod and probe dive. I don't think he's aware of this. He's spotted out. The team is supposed to peek out. That gives Zio space to walk out middle, in fact. He takes out Divo.
And Mango
takes out Hack'em. It's all falling apart.
Sides everywhere, but trades are happening. 2v3 scenario already, and the T's are getting picked off now. Maybe getting over-aggressive in different areas of the map, but now it is all up to Mango. He's up against Flexi and Zero Chance. The AWP is in the hand, but the flanks and the rotations are already in place here. We're going to
the same mistake, Mango. Don't burn yourself. Learn from your mistakes. 51 HP. Bomb isn't planted. If you can find this kill in Zero Chance, this will be huge, because considering the HP on Flexi, on 20 HP, 26 and 42 combined with a few plays, he's going to find him. He's going to rotate back to the A side or double back to the window. This is 2.0 right here. Oh! This is 2.0 Mango. He goes huge, including burning himself. He's literally on fire.
He burns himself before. You called it a mistake, but maybe it was all part of the greater plan. Then Mango is coming out huge here. We saw him trash talking on social media earlier, specifically to Mistum, and he's coming alive. He's got 27 frags up against Mistum's 31, so it's a battle of these youngsters, and what a match we have. WRG 13 rounds now, making this comeback. Sinister 5 14, forced onto Deagles. As you say, Tools, pots and pans, nothing to work with.
Indeed, and makes so much sense now why they picked us too. They have quite nice, strong CT side, T side. Zio has to back off here. He's done his work, he's done the damage, he's got the information. The rest of the players are pushing up Cat Dara, picking up a kill and diver, and things are running swimmingly now for WRG.
Lovely reaction coming from WRG there. I love the 4-1 setup where they're poking and prodding, and Zio able to get a wealth of information. He calls the strat over and the guys commit. They commit to that top push and they ultimately get this bomb site for free. All 5 players still alive here, using their flashes, preventing this retake from even beginning here.
Oh man,
this is looking like absolute confidence coming out of WRG. Where did this come from?
It's crazy goals. I mean, it's a game of two halves, Counter-Strike, and that's what I love about it. And now we get to see White Rabbit Gaming show their true colors, and I mean, it's looking dire. It's going to be 14 all. Missed him just as a CZ. He wants to get a gun and save it at the very least. He can't damage at this point in terms of the economy. Doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really matter anymore. The score is 14-14. There's 2 rounds left. Goals, this is tight. This is hectic. This is intense. This is what we want.
This is the buy round here, though, that matters the most. The team to win this goes to match points. So both teams need 2 to win or will be soon overtime. But now the rifles are up, double AWP set up for the CTs. We saw this be successful early on in the game, and it's going to come down to where they put those at the start. One isn't moving towards long though. They have taken long control. Beautiful battle there. Both teams not committing. Zero chance gets the frag onto RMP, and they retreat.
Bit of an overextension from there. I'm not too sure what the plan was. I thought they would take long, but they didn't. He went for a long shot. I think he went for the repeat, but that didn't work out for them. But at least they've got cat control now. At least they expended some sort of utility from Sinister 5, and mid to B play, I do think is the best option at the moment. We do see Hakim is caught in repositioning here. He doesn't have any utility. He has a grenade to work with. We have a player at back plat, at the very least, in the form of Mr. He has an AWP, so the split is coming in right now, so the players' positions are so important. Mr. picking up one, and he's in such a prime spot. Mango hits a lovely shot into him, and now it's down to Hakim. He's so much work, Mango, that's a double. He's coming alive. He's showing Mr. who's actually boss.
He's doing work with this AWP despite losing the early advantage in the round, and now the retake is happening, and we know how difficult this can be. A little bit of util on the side of Sin 5 to work with. They have to go for this round. They're waiting for their flank to come into effect from tunnels, but the triangle of doom has been set up here from WRG. 1 on plat, 1 by con, 1 on the site, and it's going to come down to comms. It's going to come down. The time is clicking, and the first frag goes the way of Mango. Gets traded out by Flexi. 3 frags from him, but Flexi gets another one. Now it's all up to Zio. Zio versus Flexi. The time is ticking. Zio knows the majority of his job is done. Does he have a kit? He does not. He does not have time. WRG take the lead for the first time in this game, and they are sailing their way into this second map in 15 rounds to 14. Flexi does manage to retrieve the AWP though. They need to make it work. The tactical pause coming out, and I'm thankful for that because that was intense.
Yeah, I need some water. This is quite I mean, looking at how that round unfolded, even though they had a man advantage as soon as the 5, it just didn't seem like the B players had some sort of coordination as to how they want to hold their side, despite knowing the mid to B split is coming, despite knowing there's only 2 of them and they have to at least go man for man. And that peek from Mr. He got the kill first window. I would love to see him just post tunnels and let the player
lean on his teammate.
Lean on his teammate to actually take the next point in contact and just exchange like that. But instead, he felt the need to go for that re-peek and window. And Mango's not going to miss those shots. He hasn't been missing the shots for a while. He is sitting on 31 kills. He has been trash talking. I mean, missed him on social media, and this is probably why. If they take this map, I believe in the Mango. He's only 15 goals.
Yep, some were questioning his eligibility to even see some of the movies. So, yeah, what a performance here on the main stage. But that's what I like to see. Zero chance, able to get that aggressive ball positioning going. The passive plays haven't been favoring him too much. And now, repositioned. The majority of the Sin 5 are set up towards the top area. But in response, WRG are doing the same, contesting this top control.
Exactly that. And they only have 1 player on that B side. And it's not looking too shabby for them at the moment. The molly coming down top just to slow off their aggression. They're going to put down a smoke. I would have liked to actually swung past on that molly with that flashbang, but one's going to play anti-flash, one's going to post, and they seem ready. They seem focused.
It looks like they're going to make a play here. They're going to pop flash towards top. This duel is going to most likely determine the outcome of this round. WRG playing with fire here, as on the other side of the smoke there are 2 players ready and waiting.
I would love to see them take it with 3 players, not 2, because the trades will just be even. The flash isn't effective, but the spray down is. Flexi getting himself 1. Mango is actually good for 2 there. It's down back to a 3v3 at the moment, and there's 42 seconds on the clock, so they can potentially slow the play down. Spaz, his spam's missing through the doors. There's Hakim, he's left to the FOMOS. This gun might betray you, but
But Hakim with the taps,
So
see
good.
what he's known for. He's got very few bullets
Oh my
left, and he
goodness.
gets it. Hakim saves Sinister 5 once again, and now Zio under a lot of pressure gets Hakim. He pushes through. Can he see? He doesn't know his ways. Opponent is. He collects the bomb now.
Smokes about a
Zio,
fade.
both experienced. IGL's there. He takes it. Zio closes the round, and WRG
insane.
have clawed their way back into this game, and Sinister 5 lose Dust 2 in quite a crazy fashion. Left up to Zio and Zero Chance there at the end, and unbelievable stuff there. And what a start to the Comic-Con Masters Finals here, 2019 Tools.
There was just absolute focus, absolute concentration coming out of WG in that second half. All the players hitting that shot. The game plan was exquisite. I liked how they hit that upper B. I liked how they did their splits. I liked how they caused so much frustration in that camp from Sinister 5.
Yep. And now, without further ado, let's give it over to our panelists to break that down. Guys, what a game. Take us through it.
Listen. I still have my lanyard on. That kind of level of like, I'm still into this. There we go. Guys, that was crazy. Do not call us a liar, right? Or liars. Because we said at the beginning of this panel that these games, it doesn't matter how far you are behind.
Yeah, and there's more to come. There's another map that's going to be starting in 10-15 minutes, so make sure you get back to your seats after a quick break, because that next game is going to be fantastic.
And for those of you who weren't there in the first game, now's your chance to punch those chairs. It did fill up. We weren't dishonest. And man, oh, what a...
Look at my pen.
Look at
what I
how
did.
close that game was.
It's broken.
Right until the end.
Like,
I mean, you have a look at, and it's so funny how that game ended, 0 versus 0. Like, you know, that's sort of the captains going at each other and Zio coming out on top in the end and winning that game. And in stylish fashion, WRG, they were, what was it, 13-3?
They were down 13-3. They actually lost the second pistol round. Yeah. And at that point, I was like, yeah, they're still in this. It's 12-3. They're going to the T side. They can... Oh, they lost the pistol. That's generally the tipping point for most teams, but no. WOG, they kept up that hope and that belief. There's so much to talk about that in that game. That was, what a display.
All right. So that's the thing. There is so much. We just want to be fans right now. I mean, it was crazy. You're jumping up and down. It was great. And like I said, there's been casualties.
Already, day one.
Game one.
Need a new pen. Map one.
No, if anyone has some spares lying around,
yeah,
just a little bit of aid
throw them up there. We'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Shadow of Spears.
Let's slow down.
Okay.
Let's gather our thoughts.
Got a lot of them.
Let's do this, because we have a lot of them to get.
A lot of them.
Let's start out with this. The first thing I want to point out, for me, and I want you guys to extrapolate a bit on this, was that in the first half, the one guy from WG that still looked pretty good was Mango, who was still firing. Do you guys agree? How important was that?
Well, I would say that not really in the first half. Like, he was there, he was showing up, he was on top of the list. But the way that man and Doru clutched in the second half of that game, literally won the game. But no, look, it leads to a point. Is in the first half, Mango and Doru both, they didn't really look like they had any confidence in their ability. And like maybe it was a bit of nerves, maybe it was a bit of warm-up being done. But moving into the latter game, you literally saw them come alive. And you didn't just see those players, but the whole of the WRG lineup, you know, on T's, when they started in the first half, when they started, they just didn't look like they were comfortable. They didn't look like they were, you know, in their space. And man, did it look like a different team in the second half of that game.
I think that's quite interesting, because I think we all kind of agreed with WG that they had to hit you hard and fast. They had to be the team that hit on the ground before you could discover their weakness, before you could adapt, that you beat them. In this case, the exact opposite happened. The Sin 5 come out. Hey, don't worry, guys. We got this. We got this.
Yeah.
Do a lot of damage, and then all of a sudden, WG are like, oh, this is how you play CSGO again.
I think it's really important to touch on that Sinister 5, they had that game in the bag. They absolutely should have bagged Dust 2. And the fact that they let a 10-round gap slip is unforgivable when you're here on the stage at Comic-Con. You need to drive those victories home. You need to capitalize on those advantages. So, that's quite disappointing for Sinister 5 that they weren't able to find another 3 rounds there, or even another 2 rounds towards the end. They got to 14 eventually. But, you touched on it. WRG, they looked so unsettled in that first half, but they look completely different heading into the second.
They did, definitely. You look at how, and it's the same thing for Sinister 5, right? So they looked really good in the first half. But then moving into the second half, it looked like they just maybe lost form or lost confidence.
Yeah, Zero Chance really struggled as well.
Well,
He
yeah.
only had about 4 frags up until the 16th, 17th round.
Exactly.
So he was really struggling on the AWP, not having nearly as much as an impact as they needed, especially considering that it was Dust 2 as well. It's an AWP's playground.
It is.
Can we move into the second half now?
Because the second half is really where everything happens.
There's one thing I really want to ask, and maybe a good segue into that, is that you and I were chatting, we were sitting down there, and I said, I was really impressed at how C5 were using their utilities. You mentioned that they were, what was the term you used again?
They're posting really well as well.
Yeah, they're posting
So
really
what they
well.
were doing is they were actually getting themselves into phenomenal positions in the early stages of the round, and they would find a pick on this side of the map, and they would find a pick on that side, and they would still just post. They would hold because they knew when you find those picks, the CT side, they need to do something. They have to react to try and get the round back in their favor. So if you just sit and wait and you punish those players as they come forward, you're literally giving nothing away. And that's exactly what they did. Sinister 5 played their T-half perfectly, but WRG, they took it one step further.
So yeah, now we can go there, because to me it was all summed up by this moment. Mistim going back into the T-spawn, looking for anything, and I can't remember exactly what round it was, but he was looking to punish. He was willing to go up against the 2 remaining WG players with his team's alive, but he didn't wait for them. He actually he was seeking to destroy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you sum up the first half.
Yeah.
They go into the second point, they're sitting there on TeamSpeak, like, go, guys, we've got this. Life's looking good, don't worry.
Yeah.
Let's clean this one up. Let's bring us to new quickly. And then this happens.
Yeah, perhaps even a case of getting the mental victory before you had actually crossed the finish line. You see that happen frequently in South African Counter-Strike, and that may have been the case here once again. Can't take anything away from WRG though. And the fact that they actually lost the pistol round and they won the force spy thereafter was insane. Doru and Mango, they just went absolutely nuclear. I actually can't say enough between the two of them. The young guns, neither of them are 20 years of age just yet. So it just goes to show how fantastic it is that these young players are putting up such impressive performances on the big stage here at Comic-Con.
And it's the biggest event of the year, so it seems like BMT is there, right?
Yeah.
It just shows, we spoke about Doru and Mango before this game started, and they definitely showed us how strong their mental game is, because, I mean, the way that both of those guys clutched on B-side, I mean, Doru, it just comes to mind, the way that they're outplaying Mango with the AWP, entering into side, just getting kills left, right, and center.
And Mango's like, you can clutch now. I'm going to burn myself and leave you in the 1v2 with like 10 health.
Show them what you can do. We've got this.
I love that thing. But right, so we've got to breathe a little bit for a moment. So we're going to take a short break. If we're going to find a new pen, we can get back to you. And this is your calls time, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in Comic-Con, now's the time to get back here. The seats are starting to fill up.
This is for those who dare to make a difference. Get ready for battle and join the Republic of Gamers.